Hey YouTube, Matty's Day 12, Team JMT, coming to you guys with part 2 of my Fabled deck profile. The reason this is part 2 is because I didn't give my extra deck whenever I made the original deck profile. I'll give you a link here to that. The reason I didn't do my the extra deck in that deck profile is because it's just not defined. I mean, I've just got so many cards and I'm using it. Luckily enough, my opponents that I've been playtesting with have been kind enough to let me use a 25 card extra deck for right now, just until I can try to trim some of this fat and figure out exactly what I want to use. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this, and we'll figure out if you guys can't help me decide on what I should and shouldn't run. First, for my fusion monsters, I've got Flame Ghost, Dark Flare Dragon, and Fusionist. Flame Ghost and Fusionist are level 3s. Dark Flare and Flame Ghost are darks, so if I use these guys with my Fabled tuners, that gives me a dark and a light in the graveyard, so that I will have access into Blackluster Soldier and Chaos Sorcerer. Fusionist, the reason I have it in here is because it is a Earth and I run Striker, so it gives me access into Natura Beast. Excuse me. So those are my fusion options for instant fusion. Now let's talk about the synchro monsters. First, I have Stardust Dragon. It's the level 8. You've got to have them. Next, I've let somebody borrow some of my extra deck stuff, so some of my extra deck stuff is missing, so bear with me on these wonderful proxies. But this should be a Scrap Dragon. Those are my 2 level 8 options. Stardust and Scrap Dragon. Next, let's go into level 7s. Ancient Sacred Wyvern is a really good card for this deck. It takes a light tuner and other monsters. All your Fabled tuners are lights. This gives you some real OTK abilities with it. You swarm out the field, you attack, make him real big, and then attack with him last. Gives you some great OTK abilities once you're able to make, bring him out. Next, another level 7 option that I have is Black Rose Dragon. Again, somebody borrowed my Black Rose Dragon. Next, let's go into the level 6s. I have YuGiOh. Not only does it have a great effect, but the discarding cost doesn't hurt you very much because all the Fables gain their effects off of being discarded. So not only it's kind of like a double whammy to your opponent, because not only do you get YuGiOh's effect, but you also get the Fables effects also. Next, I run the TG engine, so I have Natura Barkion. I can use Rush Rhino and Striker to go into him. I don't do it very often. I don't really like that play. That's a card that could actually maybe be cut, just because I really like Rush Rhino. I don't like giving up Rush Rhino off the field. But still, he's an option, and nobody's complained so far. So I've got him in there. Next, I want to talk about level 5s. I've got 2 Fabled Reagans. Probably could cut this down to 1. Whenever I synchro summon into him, I get to draw 2 cards. If you've got TG Hyper Librarian out at that time, it gives you the ability to synchro and go and draw 3 cards, along with getting those 2 monsters on the field. So that's the real only staples that you really have in this deck, is because you have to be able to make that play. It's too devastating to your opponent whenever you can make those 2 monsters and then draw 3 cards, because you just gain so many pluses. It's just too good. I've mentioned it before, Natura Beast. I use this just because it's, again, just another great turn 1, turn 2 play that you can make that just devastates your opponent. They got to use so many resources to get over it. Fusionist and Striker, or Junk Forward and Striker, are my access into that. Next, TG Wonder Magician. I've got all the other TG engine in it, so I kind of like him in there. He gives you an instant plus on the field because you get to blow up something. Also, when it's destroyed, you get to draw a card. And then something that gets overlooked a lot is that it's a tuner also. I actually made a play on DN. I had this and a cruise on the field. I got kind of trolly and just kind of summoned cruise and just tried to poke in there for an extra 1,000 with cruise. Got my 2,900 damage in there, and then my opponent went balls to the wall and tried to OTK me, thinking that he was going to attack over the cruise. Completely overlooked the fact that this was a tuner. Proceeded to try to go into his battle phase. I said, wait, before you go into your battle phase, I want to Synchro, Wonder Magician, and Cruise into Black Rose Dragon, blow up the field, and he just kind of was like, well, what the crap? I just spent all my resources trying to swarm the field and attack you for big, and you blew them all up. So, yeah, that's something that gets overlooked a lot on that card, is that it's a tuner also. Next, if you're going to run level 5s, if you're going to make level 5s, you got to have Catastor, just because it's 2 boss. And then Magical Android, probably going to end up dropping that just because it's just kind of in there as a filler card, just because I can make 5s. I don't really need it, as bad as that sounds. Next, my level 4, Kadobi, has a great effect if you have 0 cards in hand. I just very rarely get to that point, because if you go look at the deck profile, I have a lot of monsters in this deck, so I very rarely get to the point where I'm able to benefit off of that. However, it is also a Horn of the Phantom Beast target, which makes him 3k, which is really good, though. Next, rank 5s, Adrius and Tyrus. I really like these. Actually, I'm probably going to end up dropping the Tyrus. My biggest play with my rank 5s is the Reagan Hyper Librarian. Draw 3 cards, attack, and then Exceed Summon main phase 2 into Adrius and blow something up. The reason that's not as good of a play with Tyrus is because Tyrus can kind of do the same thing, but it needs the battle phase in order to get its destruction effect off. Where with Adrius, I can just detach and blow something face up. So they drop Gores, go into Tyrus, blow up Gores. They drop Trag, go into Tyrus, or go into Adrius, blow Trag up. Tyrus, I'm not able to do that unless I do this before battle, and that means I got to cut into what damage I could make. Next, I have a Utopia. Probably going to end up dropping that just because I don't have enough level 4s to really make it. Grimro and Rush Rhino are really the only 4s that I have. Everything else, just I don't run. I don't run Call of the Haunted. I don't run Mind Control. I'm not able to benefit off of what my opponent has on the field with, as far as taking their level 4 and using that. So yeah, Utopia is probably going to come out. Leviathan Dragon, excellent card. Go Tour Guide into Kashano, make Leviathan, discard Shikon. Excuse me. Discard Kashano to the graveyard, which gives you the discard outlet, makes him 25. Just really good plays off of him. Next, again, somebody borrowed some of my extra decks, so Leviair. I normally go into it just to have the extra 1800 beater. Whenever I do use its effect, it's usually getting Grimro back. As strange as that sounds, I always try to remove a Grimro whenever I go Blackluster Soldier or Chaos Sorcerer, just because he's 1700, and surprisingly enough, that 1700 really gets in there for the game. And the last rank 3 that I run is Wind Up Zen Mains, but again, I sold my Zen Mains, and the reprint's coming out here soon, so I'll be getting one again here soon. But there you go, guys. That is the extra deck that I run with my Fabled high monster count, Fabled, whatever you want to call it. I don't really know what you want to call it, man. But yeah, that's the extra deck that I have for it right now. I really need to trim some of this down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23 cards. Again, you guys know that's way too many. I can probably cut Utopia, Tyrus, Kadobi, Magical Android, maybe one Reagan. I might have to cut Barkion. maybe Flame Ghost, so I'm setting at 7. I don't know, guys. But yeah, there you go. I mean, give me some help on this. That's what I'm running in my extra deck right now. And again, that's why I didn't add this to the deck profile before. But I'm going to go ahead and link it to the deck profile. If you look here, you'll be able to see the deck. And then I'll put the same link in the deck so you can come here and check out the extra deck. So there you go, guys. There's the extra deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like always, guys, subscribe, comment down below. Show us how much you love us.